Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to come to you this evening with a book tag. Now, this book tag has went around, it's done the rounds, and I meant to do it when it first came out, and got behind on videos. So anyway, thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. This is the book buffet tag, and this was originally done by Emerita by the Book, and I saw it on Margaret Pernard's channel, and then actually I saw it on a whole bunch of people's channels, but Margaret Pernard's was the first one that I saw it on. So I wanted to go to the buffet table and partake because I like to eat, so why not? But anyway, this has, let's see, 8 questions, and so let's go ahead and get started. So question number 1 on the book buffet tag is appetizer. A short story, novelette, or novella that you wish could be expanded into a full-length novel and get a novel-length sequel. I was sitting there thinking, I don't read a lot of novellas or short books, but the one that immediately popped into my head, Stephen King had put together a book called 4 Seasons, and it had 4 novellas in it. And the one that popped in my head was Rita Hayworth in The Shawshank Redemption. I think that was the official title of it, but most people just know it as Shawshank Redemption because of the movie that came out. And I absolutely loved the movie, but I really liked the book as well. Matter of fact, I think the book was maybe better than the movie, even though the movie was absolutely awesome. But anyway, I really liked that book. I thought they could maybe expand that, and to be honest, I kind of second-guessed myself because I thought Stephen King did a really good job in the short novel as it is, the novella. But I love the story so much, I wouldn't mind seeing it expanded and, just adding to it. And for what it's worth, I liked all of the books in that book of short stories. It had Apt Pupil, which they made a movie out of. They had Shawshank Redemption. They had, and of course, it wasn't called Stand By Me. That was the movie. But the book was, and I'm not going to remember the name of it because I couldn't find the book 4 Seasons. It's upstairs somewhere. But anyway, I couldn't remember the 4th book that was in there. I just remember I liked all 4 of them, and I think they probably could have expanded all 4 of them. But not to take anything away from the novella, because I thought he did a good job with the novella. Anyway, question number 2, salad bar. Pick 3 ingredients, such as plot elements, writing style, tropes, etc., that would be in your ideal book salad. And I think for me, what I like to see in my books, I love rags to riches stories, or the underdog story. I always love that. I always feel that that's a little bit of my story, a rags to riches underdog story. So I always like to read about that. That always is fun. I love my books to be fast-paced when I'm reading fiction. And also, I really want realistic, believable characters. And I want the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't want, characters that are so perfect or so bad that they're not even believable. I like those characters who are like the good guys, but they've got this bad side to them. Just like people in reality, nobody's perfect. There's always that dark side of everybody. And that might be what brings me a little bit to Stephen King's books. He does that a little bit with his characters. He shows the good, the bad, and the ugly. So yeah, that would be my pick at the book salad bar. So question 3, DOSA Station, or DOSA Station, a slim volume that packs a significant punch. For me, I picked Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I absolutely love this book. I come back to it every couple years. I come back and reread that book. I love it so much. The main characters, George and Lenny. George is the short, tough guy who is smart and takes care of great big old Lenny, who's like big and muscular, but not big and muscular here. So they're kind of polar opposites. And I always, I sometimes think of my little brother as Lenny. My little brother is, he's mentally handicapped, and so he's got some challenges that he faces all the time. And a lot of times he does stuff on the simple basis that he wants to make friends. He wants everybody to be happy. And so he'll do some dumb stuff that people invite him to do because they think it's funny. We used to go through this in high school a lot. And I got mad a lot. But I always think of Lenny's character. I always have my brother in the back of my head. And so this story always, kind of warms my heart a little bit. But of course, at the end, it does not warm my heart. But, it's a story of love and friendship and loyalty, a weird kind of loyalty, but loyalty. Question number 4, Pasta. A book that brings you comfort and leaves you fully satisfied and leaves you fully satisfied and content when you're done with it. I like John Jakes' book Homeland, and it's about a immigrant boy from Germany who moves to the United States in the 1892, I think, is the year that it takes place. But his name's Paulie Kroner, and he's looking to come to America and live with his uncle in Chicago. His uncle's become a beer brewer and has made a good name for himself. And Paulie wants to join his uncle and just make good for himself, make a good life. And it's the story of all immigrants, and that's what I love about it. And it's a big old thick monster, so I'm definitely, when you compare it to Pasta, it fills you up. It's a big, big book. But I really like that book. So question 5 is Beef. A book that is hearty, whether it's long, fills you up with gooey warmness, or was just a slog to get through. For me, for this long book, I picked Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove. I absolutely love the book. I love the TV miniseries. I have that as well. And it was a joy to read. It's something I'm going to need to come back and reread here sometime in the near future. It was a great book. It was long, and it did fill me up with gooey warmness. I would not say that it was a slog to get through because I thought it read pretty fast, and I just really enjoyed the storyline. It's one of the greatest Westerns I've ever read. Kind of long for a Western because Westerns you usually think of as short, but really, really good. Highly recommended. Matter of fact, I'd highly recommend any of these books that I've mentioned so far. Question 6, bread. Something you and your friends fight over while you're waiting for your dinner is the bread basket. Talk about a book you fight with other people about. Okay, so I don't think I've ran into the right person yet, but I mentioned this earlier in the year. I read Catcher in the Rye. It is supposed to be one of the best books ever written in the English language. I think it's one of the absolute worst books ever written in the English language. Now, everybody I asked at school, have you read this? What did you think? None of them liked it either. My daughter hated it. So I know I would argue with people because if you look on the internet, it's on the top 10. It's one of the top 10 or top 20 books in all of English history, the English language, if you look on several of the lists. So I know I would argue with somebody. I just don't know who. Question number 7. Cheese Room. A book with a happy ever after ending. And for this, I picked a book that I read every December, Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. It's a book about Christmas with the Cranks. If you've seen the movie, really good movie too, funny movie. But it's about a family who their daughter goes off to college, or not college. She goes to work with AmeriCorps, I think. And anyway, travels to a foreign nation, and the mom and dad are now alone at Christmas for the first time, and since the girl was little, and they decide to skip Christmas and go on a cruise. And so they're, the whole book and movie is all filled with them saving money left and right by not buying presents, not having Christmas parties, not even putting out the Christmas tree or the big Santa on the roof, or the light display that their block always puts on at their house. And, it's bah humbug to the extreme. But then they find out that their daughter is going to end up coming home, and she's bringing her future husband with her. And the parents go, they have very little time to put together Christmas as their daughter would have remembered it. So they're out trying to buy food, and all the food's gone in the stores. They're fighting over the last can of ham. They're trying to get a Christmas party, and they've already made everybody on the block mad, the people that would normally go to the Christmas party. Their neighbors are trying to help them put lights up and put the Santa up on the roof, and it is absolutely funny. But when their daughter ends up coming in, everybody at that point has pitched in to help save Christmas for them, and it's a heartwarming story. And there's a part in the book where one of the neighbors is suffering. It's an older couple, and the wife is suffering from cancer, and she might not have long to live. And they end up giving their tickets to the cruise to that husband and wife for kind of a last Christmas gift, for them to have as a couple. And I thought that was really, really sweet. And, showed he did have a big heart after all. But I read that every Christmas. It's a short novel. I love it. Highly recommend that one as well. All right, so question number 8, The Chocolate Fountain. When you read a new series or an author, do you dip in and out, or do you read it all back to back? Okay, so for me, I have found that I always have to read the first book in the series. That's just, I can't start in the middle. I'm not that type of person. And if I like the series, I tend to read all the way, I tend to read all the way through the series, especially if it's fiction. Now, if it's nonfiction, a lot of times I will read one volume for, let's say, 2020. I'll read volume 2, 2021, volume 3, 2022. So I like to, kind of spread it out. But I do go through the whole series, especially if it's good. And I do the same thing with authors. When I find an author that I like, I try to, especially with my nonfiction collection, I try to buy all of their books. Some of those examples that kind of popped in my head was like H.W. Brands. I've been working on getting his whole collection. I love his writing. Books on Lincoln, so the topic of Lincoln. I try to buy everything I find on Lincoln and I try to read it. Stephen Ambrose, I try to buy all of his. I've got a good chunk of his collection. And then, of course, with my fiction stuff, John Grisham, I have all of his. With the exception of the one coming out here in about a month. I hope to get that for my birthday. Usually that's my birthday gift. And then John Jakes. The only stuff I don't have from John Jakes is the old stuff, like his old Westerns, I think he did like Conan the Barbarian stuff. I don't have any of those, but I hope to someday add those to my collection. So anyway, that's how I am with long series or new series that come out. So question 9 is not really a question, it's the tag. So who's invited? Tag some foodie friends. So again, this tag has went around on BookTube. I know most of you have done it, or a lot of you have done it, the people that I watch. And so I don't really know who hasn't done it. So I'm going to tag anyone who's hungry. I tag you if you haven't done this, the book buffet tag. Go and eat. So thank you for watching BookTube. I hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, happy reading.